Spot Podcast brought to you by, you guessed it, Pella Windows and Doors. If you need any window and door needs, Omaha showroom, Lincoln showroom, great places to start. I was speaking at this Creighton Prep Sports night, which was amazing with Greg McDermott and Dana Altman. But in the socials part of it, like the amount of people that came up to me and like, it's not about basketball. It's about Pella. That's how it should be. It should always be about Pella. Check them out online, PellaOmaha.com. Vince, Debbie, the whole crew, they're fantastic. I absolutely love them. Okay, that's Bo Ruud. I'm Nick Bahe. It's September 24th, 1 o'clock. It's the bye week. And we got a handful of things to discuss. Mm-hmm. Before we get into the updated club, so we're a couple of days removed as the dust has settled from the Michigan game. Have you had an epiphany, an apostrophe, as Schmeed once told Captain Hook?
I'm having an apostrophe, Schmeed.
Have you had any, or do you feel largely the same?
I feel the same.
Yeah. Any reaction, like anecdotal reaction? Have you felt like people have swung too far one way or the other?
I had one. I'll tell you about the main swing. So I think for the most part, I've sensed there's a very reasonable reaction, which I think kind of we felt, which is, we got beat by a team that has, overall better talent, especially in the trenches. But there's an overall, like, we feel like Nebraska's made some improvements. I've heard that a few times. Had an interesting take from a few people, which was, we were talking about Dylan and we were talking about QB and like some of the QBs we faced. And I was like, I'm very supportive of Dylan. I think Dylan's playing good football right now. And so I guess the question would be to you is like, would you trade Dylan right now for Bryce Underwood?
No.
Would you trade him for the Cincy quarterback?
I don't think so, but I mean,
no, yes,
not with. I mean, it's like they're different. I mean, I think my answer is no.
My answer is no.
Yes,
and my answer was no. But I guess the question is, and we talked about this a little, is can a running quarterback help you win uglier games? Sometimes that's the case, or if your team's not quite there. And I think there's a case you can make where a great running quarterback can kind of carry a team.
That was kind of the last thing you and I talked about.
Yeah.
You were like walking out the door. We were like talking about that. And I do think that is interesting. And I think that is, first of all, I think Nebraska fans are just, it's like, you got a type, bro, brunette, blonde. What are you?
What do you like?
You go to the bar like, dude, what kind of QB you like? You like a pocket passer? You like a runner? Everybody's inclined.
Short guys love like real tall women. Like the short guy's like, oh, she's 6'1". He's like, oh, like it's
love
something.
Me a 6-footer, man.
Oh my God.
But Nebraska fans are just they are drawn towards a mobile quarterback. I think that is because Dylan's been like bizarrely polarizing for the start of the season he's had. Like he's really off to a good start statistically. Yeah. And again, I know he got sacked a bunch, but I mean, you saw what the tackles were getting mauled,
on skates. Yep.
I don't know how you could watch that game and walk away and feel like Dylan was the problem in that game at all. No. I mean, the guy was anything but. But I just, for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's the lack of mobility or what it is, but it's not like it's unanimous that everybody is in love with him.
I think there is an aspect to that theme of like when you aren't quite there, the running quarterback
kind of
covers up.
Yeah,
it can make up for a lot of things.
Agree.
But my argument is man, like the best true pocket decision maker guys will take you the distance almost. Like if you can you got to have more around Dylan right now. But if you can do that, the guy that is the best at just making the decisions and delivering the ball can in the end be the best. And I think that's what I'm holding on to is that Dylan, I just see the way he's commanding the offense and the way he's processing and delivering the football accurately. Mm-hmm. He had a couple moments, right, where a bad throw, whatever, but like I love a quarterback that I can just trust that's going to get us into the best situation the most.
Yes. I mean, he's on the short list of like, and I'm serious, when you take any quarterback in the country, you got 2 minutes to go 80 yards. Like he's up there.
That's the part where I feel like we've had some running quarterbacks, and I just don't know that it's that I've seen the difference that even in the last, those last couple drives, I still think you got to be able to throw the ball.
Yeah. So, but I think to your point though, I do think there is some truth to the whole idea of a running quarterback can help make up for deficiencies.
Yeah, I mean,
they're kind of erase certain things. If say you got a shaky O-line, well, a running quarterback can help mask that. Say you got you don't know how good your true tailback running game is. Well, a running quarterback can help make up for that stuff.
Yeah.
And so there is I think the analogy we use is like Eric Crouch probably is better suited, and that's a bad example because he won the effing Heisman. But like someone like that is probably more suited to carry an average roster than a true pocket quarterback like Dylan is. And so, but yeah, I think it's interesting how a lot of the conversation after this game has been, oh my gosh, stopping the run. And of course the offensive line, but the topic number 3 has kind of been Dylan in some ways. And I'm like, I don't know what.
Yeah, it's tough. Cause like, I do understand like a guy like Underwood, like, he's shown the last couple games, like he's got the big arm.
Yep.
And with him running, like it's a problem. Like he can break.
You got to account for it.
But in the end, like you watch his game, and they have to manufacture the offense a little bit more than just like Dylan is making reads and delivering the ball. And his accuracy is just underrated how accurate he's been.
Well, and think about this. Think about Dylan handing the ball to Justice Haynes and in front of that offensive line.
Exactly.
So instead of viewing it from like, well, would Nebraska take Bryce Underwood? Imagine Michigan with Dylan.
I would love to pose that. So we actually had a bunch of Michigan fans watch the YouTube and comments, So we actually, Michigan for some reason always tunes in to the YouTube.
Yeah.
I would love if there's any Michigan fans that for some reason are hungover still watching this.
Would you take Dylan?
Would you take Dylan right now versus your 5-star? Because Underwood, high paid 5-star. He's got a ton of physical talent, but Dylan, I would argue
he's further along. He's
further along
as a polished passer right now.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm not saying if you're asking me, like, I can have Bryce Underwood 6 years from now or Dylan 6 years from now. Like, I don't know. I mean, all things being equal, you probably take the better athlete. So I would take Bryce Underwood, maybe. They're very interesting because they're both 5-stars. They're both kind of, blue chippers. One's a much better runner. One's a much better passer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm banking on the passer right now because I haven't seen how Underwood is going to develop as a quarterback who processes the game.
Yeah.
Like how he processes and delivers it over time. Like obviously if all of a sudden he gets to Dylan's level as a passer, what you got. You got like you've seen a couple of these guys like Jaden Daniels in the NFL. Like those guys are problems when they are hard to deal with.
Yeah.
But those guys are rare. They win Heisman trophies. Right. So is Underwood going to be a future Heisman Trophy player, or is he going to be a better Jeff Sims?
Yeah, I think he's closer to a future Heisman.
I think there's a chance for that. He's a good player. He's got the arm,
and he's got the moxie. I know he fumbled, but like he never looked. That was a hornet's nest, and he never really looked rattled to me.
Yeah, he didn't look like a freshman necessarily. He also didn't look like he's ready to win the Heisman yet.
No.
So he's somewhere in between. I still take Dylan.
Me too.
But like I said, we don't want to discount Underwood's got some.
I mean, at this point, we're it's like Kathy Ireland or Cindy Crawford. What do you got?
Kathy's already had two swimsuit.
Kathy, the life size photo. What was that thing? Like there was like a big. Someone had like a life size like Kathy Ireland like
cutout.
Yeah, cutout. That's the word I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
If you have a life size Bryce Underwood cutout in someone's garage here. I think I don't know. I mean, you don't want to overreact to that game, but I think one of my main takeaways, the further removed I've got from the game, and then we'll get to the club and a bunch of other stuff here. because there's somebody like, oh, same old, same old. I'm like, I don't know about that. Like that game it didn't have the forehead slapping, like, what is Nebraska doing?
Yeah. Didn't feel like it.
You know what I mean? They didn't feel like, oh my God, they are just falling apart. Or can you believe that stretch of just like slopping it? I didn't feel that.
No, it felt to me, what's encouraging is I felt like we played a B- game for us.
Yeah.
We didn't play our A game and get beat. We got beat in 2021 playing our A game.
Yes. Nebraska,
our best game.
Nebraska, that game could not have played better.
Everybody played up to the competition. Yeah. They played their best. And I felt like we were just all right.
Right.
And Michigan wasn't like they played their best, but it was still like, I felt like we were right there.
Right.
We were close enough for not even having played our best game. So I just saw a lot that just felt different, even though the results are the same.
Yeah.
It did feel different.
Yes. But I also think that this is where you can go back to like some of the stuff. I do think some of the things, and again, if we sit here and have a referendum and a town hall after every game on like cross-checking, like, well, it says here that Matt Rhule, August the 17th, said that his defense, and I quote, was hell on wheels. I would like to, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would like you to look at Exhibit 8, 286 yards rushing.
We'd like to hold Matt Rhule in contempt. We'd like to hold him in contempt for his statement.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
At the Big Ten Media Days, folks.
And I quote, we have 3 great running backs. That was a direct quote from Matt Rhule. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, did you see, in your opinion, 3 great running backs? There is an element of that's why we had the one pod of I'm not buying the hype, but it's got me hyped, and we kind of poked a little fun at, like, there is an element of some of the you say it sounds fun, and it's super exciting to say in the moment, and it's super exciting to consume as a Gary and Grand Island,
Yeah.
But that check comes, and you got it. I mean, see what it looked like. That D-line did not look like hell on wheels, and Nebraska does not have 3 great backs. So there's kind of like there's an element of that going on. There's a little bit of like receipt. You said this.
The reality
you said that.
check. This is the reality check week, and everybody's dealing with the way they deal with it. But this is reality check week. I think if we had to sum it up, I still feel pretty good.
Yeah,
I think we are what I think we kind of thought we were the whole time.
Yes.
We needed Michigan to tell us that. So now the rest of the season's still there. But yeah, I think the biggest, the interest, the Dylan, would you trade Dylan stuff was the biggest, like, got me thinking all week. And I really thought it through, and I thought it through and came out the other side saying, no, I don't want to trade Dylan.
No.
Of course not. I mean, for these good players, they are good players.
Sure.
But I think even though running the QB more could, quote unquote, help us or carry us more, I just don't know. I think we've been in that. We've had some running quarterbacks, and it didn't seem to help us win that many games, actually. Like Jeff Sims and Heine and like Martinez. Like, I just don't think that made the difference for us.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is interesting how, like, the identity of this team is morphing into an interesting place, and maybe it's a product of, like, your quarterback has to shape what you build around.
Yeah.
But Rhule talked a lot about and brought up, even in the Big Ten, being like, we want to be a physical, in the trenches, run the ball, stop the run team. And for the most part, it seems like the first couple of years they've tried to be that. And all of a sudden in this year, the team is not that. They're not a very good running team right now. They're not very good at stopping the run. I don't know how good they are in the trenches. I don't know how physical they are in the trenches, but maybe that's the nature of when you get a blue chipper at QB, you got to build it and tailor it like that, especially then when you bring in a guy like Holgorsen, who's pretty good at diagnosing those kinds of situations as well. It's interesting spot. But yeah, I always like to, like, let the dust settle a couple days later and then kind of take the temperature of things. You ready to do the club?
People still are going to the club. That's good. I don't feel like we need to close the club. I think the club is open for business. It's a little slower after a loss, but I think it's fair. It wasn't like after Indiana. We closed the club after Indiana.
Right.
We closed it.
Yeah, you can't close the club after every loss.
No,
I mean,
we
and you
keep it open.
Come on. Yeah, because people are like, close the club. I'm like, no, we're not going to do that.
We're not closing the club.
We're not closing the club. Last week, should we update? So last week, these individuals were in the club. I hope I have these right. You and I are the worst ever. Dylan, Emmett, Dane Key, Corey Barney, Singleton.
Singleton was our fifth.
We had at Applebee's on dinner and a movie date, Luke Lindenmeyer with his fiance, and we had him going home and watching You Got Mail, and his fiance fell asleep on the couch at 9:30. I'd like to
confirm she did fall asleep. It was actually at 8:45. They were at home early,
okay.
And she was sleepy.
She was sleepy.
Snuggled up, yeah.
Yep. Okay. So at the Gourmet Grill, Isaiah Hunter, Hartzog, McCullough, Winery.
Yep.
In an Uber van, we had the entire offensive line.
Okay.
And then we told Kate Petchak, Vincent Shavers, and Say You're Right to keep your phone on.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
This week, may I interest you in the following club, sir?
Okay.
Dylan Raiola.
Done.
Ja'Cory Barney.
Yes, he's in after this last week. Caught the Hail Mary.
Caught another touchdown. Had a good punt return.
But had a bad punt return.
Yeah.
All equal. He's in the club.
I think he's in the club.
Yep.
Dane Key. Keeping him in there? I'm keeping him in there.
I think that's fair. Okay. I was trying to think of my last guy. Let's keep Key.
Emmett Johnson.
Emmett's in.
And then
I was so stuck at this point.
Well, I placed a phone call to Applebee's.
Yes!
And I said, cancel the Saturday reservation for the Lindenmeyers party of two.
Okay, Lindenmeyer's party of two.
We are bringing Luke Lindenmeyer back to the club.
I would agree with one caveat.
All
the Scarlets got to come.
I think that's his biggest feather in his cap.
I think because the Scarlets are coming, we keep bringing Lindenmeyer as long as he doesn't just.
If he stays engaged to his current fiance,
it's a big bonus.
It's a big bonus for him with the club. You get Luke, you get the fiance, you get the whole Scarlet dance team, which takes the Husker club from point A to point B.
I feel like I want to go there.
I would love to go there. Okay. So are we good with that?
We're good. I think
Dylan,
that's right.
Barney, Lindenmeyer, Key, Emmett Johnson.
And the entire
Scarlet dance team. Let me add that. That's going to totally, we got to try our best to remain objective. And we feel like Luke Lindenmeyer's would be like 0 catches, personal foul. But he's in. Entire Scarlet dance team. Okay, my friend. At the Gourmet Grill, I got a little stingy here. I was feeling a little stingy.
Okay, I like that. I mean, we just lost.
At the Gourmet Grill, I got 2 people.
Okay.
I got Hunter still, and I got McCullough. And that's it.
I think that's fair. I didn't hear much out of Winery.
Winery, to me, like...
Dason had a sack. He had a TFL.
He had a good TFL. Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Are you cool with Hunter? Or is he being a little too quiet? He's a new guy. Are we feeling
2 receivers in the club? I think that's fine. Let's he didn't have one bad. I guess he didn't.
He stepped out of bounds. I forgot about the out of bounds. No, he's out.
Is he out? Okay, out. Gourmet Grill. Sorry.
So the Gourmet Grill has McCullough solo.
We are stingy. Yeah, we are stingy today.
Okay, so then McCullough's, are we good with that? He's the only guy at the Gourmet Grill.
He's the only guy.
I mean, we lost.
Yeah, and I would say entire O-line in the XL van.
Well,
do we send them home?
What I did, I said, we are going to have the entire O-line in a stinky Uber van.
Oh, I think you're right.
We got to punish. You let Dylan get sacked that many times.
Yeah.
There's got to be a price to pay for this. We're not just going to send you home.
We asked for the lowest rating Uber you could send.
We reached out. We went onto the Uber app and said, we want the stinkiest, worst rated big van you got.
Uber accommodated to me.
Yeah.
They worked with
the
us.
Spirit Airlines of Ubers is what. So are we good with that? We have the entire O-line in a stinky Uber.
Uber, not even XL.
This is a stink. We got you in like a, what was Mullen? A Mazda?
Stinky Mazda.
Tiny ass car. Okay. So, but in an Uber, a regular
Stinky
Uber
Mazda. Okay.
regular Uber, Sayre Wright, Winery, Singleton, Hunter? Or
Winery,
Sayre Wright,
Singleton, Hunter. That's fair.
Is that okay?
Yeah, those guys are right on the. They're all playing fine.
They're in the conversation.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right. This is like, wow, we were really efficient today. Club, Dylan, Barney, Lindenmeyer with the entire Scarlet Dance team, Dane Key, Emmett Johnson.
Great.
It's a hell of a club.
Yeah.
I mean, I would, if they invited me, can I get an invite?
It's the bye week too, so people are going to party this week.
People are going to party. You and I will MC or DJ it.
DJ's Nick Bob
Bo Ruud would be good.
Playing 80s old school
R&B. 80s and 90s R&B. These kids would be like, what is going on? Like, well,
I tell you what,
it's like when you and I karaoke Gregory Abbott Shake You Down to the Red Fox. There was a bunch of like motorcycle guys, and they were like,
say what you want.
Something a little odd with these two guys here.
Where the hell did these guys come from?
What's up with these guys with their arms around each other singing Gregory Abbott? What is this?
What the hell?
What's going on?
But we will set the mood for the
we
young
will,
folks.
For sure.
They'll thank us later.
No, they will. Gourmet Grill McCullough by himself. Sorry, Deshaun. I mean, it is what it is. Uber, Sayre Wright, Winery, Singleton, Hunter, stinky Uber, entire O-line.
I think they're gonna really.
They're gonna learn.
They're gonna think deep about this week. They want to get out of this Uber. I think they're gonna bounce back, and we can maybe hope we can either get them to the Gourmet Grill, or at least to a better Uber.
I am open to the entire offensive line as a unit going and getting something to eat at the Gourmet Grill.
I'll tell you what, I mean, if we ever ran for like 400, 500, then we might send them all to the club.
Now that would be fun.
That would be a good day.
Wouldn't that be fun?
If we ever could get
like a great running day.
Yeah, if we could ever get multiple old linemen to the club, it's a good thing. Nebraska is going to be in a great spot.
If they're able to have, a 200 plus 250-yard rushing day against a Big Ten team, I'm willing. And I think Dylan and those guys would be willing to say, you know what? I'm not going to go to the club this week.
Unselfishly, he'll step out.
We'll send all those guys there.
Yeah.
So just so you guys know, O-line, I'm sure you're listening. An invite to the club could potentially come your way.
The club is for you if you could get there.
Okay, good?
Good.
All right. I don't know if you and I ever talked about this. Do you have, because there's another thing that like we talked about, like keeping receipts and like throwing things back at people after the fact. So Matt Rhule has a podcast, House Rules.
Yep.
Play on words there. And of course, I called this. I could read what I wrote about it when I had it in a solo pod on August 23rd. But I said, this is one of those things that I go, this is the kind of stuff that lands a certain way based on whether you win or lose. I said, it's like Tim Miles tweeting at halftime. Everyone loved it until he started losing and people are like, quit tweeting and start coaching.
Yeah.
And this was the most predictable thing ever. Like, it's House Rules is great. Rhule doing a podcast is great. And then you lose and it's like, little less podcasting, coach. Why don't you coach the team up?
Of course.
And that's how, but how does it land to you? I mean, you're one of those guys, you've never waded in these waters at all. Like you got no interest in like a first take, A block with Stephen A talking about the House Rules.
I always think my philosophy in life is like, I think whenever somebody's up here, I think stay down here. When they're down here, I think go up here. Like whatever that is, you name the scenario in life, I pretty much always can use that analogy and it's somewhat right?
I think, and I will back that up, having been your friend forever.
I just think it's people they just swing and it has nothing to do with reality. So like when things are great and Rhule's doing it, I have zero problem with it. When things are bad and he's doing it, I have zero problem with it.
Yes. I just feel like it's like,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Have you listened to it yet?
I have not. I've only listened to I've only seen the social clips that get pushed out. But it is interesting. I mean, like the week of Michigan, he had Will Compton on and he had Dave Portnoy on.
Oh yeah. I mean, like,
so you're thinking like, I mean, it is an interesting move. You're thinking like, man, big week, and you're taking time out of your schedule. Now, again, we all act like, I can't believe he's got time to do that. It's like, I mean, it's like a half hour probably.
Nick, you did an episode where you talked about the attention economy. Like in a weird way, I hope people see that this is football, but this isn't football anymore in a sense. Right. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean, this is a moment in time where things are changing so fast. that it's almost hard to wrap your mind around. Like a lot of this job, and I think Matt Rhule is a trailblazer and a trendsetter. He is ahead of the game right now. A lot of this job is about being entertaining
and being in the conversation, relevant.
Being relevant. So Matt Rhule is doing these things, which, like I said, I wouldn't want to have to do all these walk and talks and
go on Pat
recruiting
McAfee,
but he is selling the program and he's selling hard. And all these things he's doing are a version of selling Matt Rhule and selling the program. So I think people are so caught up about like, what does he spend his time on? Like, he's not doing it for another reason other than like, he thinks it's good for the program.
Yeah.
He's doing it for the program. He's doing it for like his name, which is good for the program's name too. Like these things go hand in hand. It's about getting the eyeballs on you. It's sort of about controlling the narrative. There's a lot that you could frame it, but this is going to be the future. Like this is going to be the future. There's no, as much as I love Tom Osborne, you can't be a Tom Osborne anymore. Almost like you almost can't do it.
Yeah.
Like that, like as stoic and sort of, under the radar, everything about his program was only spoken like from their performance and nothing else. Like you just can't recruit that way anymore. You can't, like, it's just different. Right. And I think Tom Osborne would probably say that part's different.
Sure.
And so I don't know, like, I don't like a lot of it. I just kind of understand. As a realist, it seems like to me, that's where it's all going. So you're either going to do that well or you're not.
Yes. And if you're not going to play that game, and I don't mean that, I know that sounds like it's negative, but if you're not going to play that game, then you better win national titles. You better be
so good. You gotta
where it recruits itself. It sells itself.
In a way, you can get away with that. Like, I don't know what Kirby Smart's. I'm not following Kirby Smart close enough. Georgia can maybe do that right now, right?
Yes. Or Ryan Day.
Ryan Day could maybe do that right now. And Ohio State has so much support and right? But
I don't think the Have a Good Day podcast is coming down the pike. But
it might be, Nick. I actually think it might be. I don't think he would be like thinking I'm going to get behind on anything. Like he doesn't want Matt Rhule to get an edge on him. But I think that for personality, so like if you don't like this, you're almost better off going to the pros. Because there's no recruiting. You don't have to worry about that NIL. You're not worried about eyeballs. You're worried about like, I got to win.
Yeah.
I got a salary cap. They're going to pay the guys anyway. This era of NIL recruiting, it is about something else. You have to own like people's mind space as well as attention because that brings dollars.
Agreed.
There's this weird, it's a different animal than pros as just being a coach. So Matt Rhule is doing something different, but he's trying to be a trailblazer. He's trying to get an edge. So I don't take this as Matt Rhule is only trying to just like waste his time that he could be coaching. Like he's got a vision behind it in my mind. And right or wrong, I think he's trying to trailblaze.
Well, and the other thing that I brought up in that episode was like, I also think there's a world where Matt Rhule walks into the offices and he peeks in the offensive room and Holgerson's like, I got it. I'm good. I got it. And he peeks in and John Butler and Phil Snow are looking at film and the defense room and they're like, we got it. And then you go down to Mike Eckler and Mike Eckler's like pouring Red Bull on himself and he's like, I got it, coach. So like a part of why and I think it's the strengths of Rhule. What Rhule does really well is he's and again, I don't mean this negatively. He's a salesman. Like he's a great spokesman. The guy's an unbelievable speaker. He's relatable. Like he's good at that. And so it's the nature of the beast. I just was curious what, because I knew the second Nebraska lost, this stuff was coming.
Yeah.
This stuff was coming. The other thing that we talked about how Dylan's been in the conversation, the Dylan Raiola Patrick Mahomes thing is kind of like taken on a life of its own. And it's almost it's morphed into this place online where it's almost a little polarizing. And I think you get some people that almost are eye rolling at Dylan and the whole Patrick Mahomes thing.
Yeah.
And my only advice to Dylan, and we maybe have talked about this, where you didn't watch the game, but like he told this Jenny Dell, the CBS sideline reporter, they talked about the Mahomes thing, and she said that Dylan told her that he wishes those comparisons would just go away. He wishes like all that stuff would go away. He even in that campus conversation with him and Hartzog and Singleton and Buford, he did the whole thing like, I can't help it that he's a quarterback, I'm a quarterback, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think Dylan's doing himself any favors. I think he's making it worse with the way he's handling it.
You mean like instead of just being like, he's my favorite player, I just really like, like I think that's easier if you just
embrace it, dude. Like we all know, and we all know.
Yeah.
You know what my analogy is? Do you remember the Sports Center commercial of LeBron James goes over to Scott Van Pelt and Bron goes, "Have you seen my chair?"
And Van Pelt's like, yeah.
Van Pelt's sitting on a clearly a king's throne, and he's like, no, LeBron, good luck finding your chair. And the hilarious element of that is like, it's so obvious that he is sitting on the chair, and it's funny that to LeBron's face, he's going to be like, no, I don't know where your chair's at.
Yeah.
That's what this is to me. Like, Dylan, it's okay, man. Like, it's so obvious you're emulating him. Well, and my thing to that is like, he's the best quarterback in the world. He's the best quarterback in the NFL.
It's good to emulate him. Yeah.
Why would you not like this is Derek Anderson at Kentucky in 1996, shaving bald, chewing gum, wearing 23 or something, sticking his tongue out, and people being like, are you, Michael Jordan? Like, no, I'm not being, it's like, well, why wouldn't you just be like, yeah, I'm trying to be Michael Jordan. I think he's the greatest player in the world right now. And like, just embrace, like, so what I think the reason it's gotten morphed to a place of where it's like a little like eye rolly for people is because he tries to act like he's not, like it's not a thing. And it's clearly it is.
And it's not like he's emulating everything. I think it truly comes down to, because Mahomes changed his haircut. Yeah. But the original haircut and the sunglasses, it was too close.
It was, they've done the screen, the picture,
too close.
It's identical.
It's too close. And so
the mannerisms, I've seen the mannerisms are all the same. And I'm like, that's a pretty big coincidence.
And, and Dylan, I think for his part, he hasn't said, I think I play like Patrick. Like he hasn't done that, which is the ultimate sin. Don't ever do that. Right. Like we've always talked about, you don't compare yourself to the best player.
Yes.
So I think it's like a learning thing, right? As a young kid, it's hard to know, like, it's okay just to be like, yeah, he's my favorite. And I think he's cool.
He's the best quarterback in the league, in my opinion.
What can you say to him?
He's my favorite player.
You don't like that he's got a favorite and he's trying to be like,
and I've been lucky enough to get to know him a little bit. And so, yeah, I just, if I can try, and so again, on the spectrum of, does this matter at all? It matters not at all.
Okay. So you feel like the people are on, I think this is where I miss things by not being telling me about
Mr. Bo stuck in 1991 right now.
But I miss this stuff. Maybe it's for the better. I'm like, people are bothered by that. Like, I didn't know it was that important, but like, so
there's some people. Tom Fornelli of CBS did a whole thing on how he's out on Raiola and he gets tired of the Raiola stuff and that he's clearly trying to be him. But he referenced it to like every one of his throws, he doesn't step into his throw. It's all like trying to be Dylan, blah, 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 blah.
It's a lot of arm strength.
It's a lot of arm, different stuff, which sometimes like he threw a nice, do you remember his, the little side one? It's like some of the stuff he does is like, that's fucking amazing.
That's arm angles. And you can say baseball stuff. I love it.
Yeah, so do I. Like some of the stuff is necessary, needed, and effective. But so again, I feel like I don't want to breathe life into something, but that would be my unsolicited advice to him is like, dude, just like
it's good advice.
I would just say embrace it. Like, no, if it's fine, embrace it.
It's good advice. Like I say, sometimes, especially in the world of media, like when you follow, I don't know, whether XYZ politics, XYZ entertainment, like it's when people try to avoid the thing that if you just say, just own it. Yeah. I mean,
sometimes you're better off just owning it. And this is bad because it's like, it's not even a bad thing. Sometimes like, owning it comes with a connotation of like, you made a mistake. Dylan, you made no mistake having your hair be like Mahomes and trying to emulate how he plays and because guess what? Patrick Mahomes is a fucking baller. Okay.
He's a cool guy. He's a baller.
But it's But enough with the, I don't know. Like, what are we talking about? It's like, here comes a kid that wears number 30, does pull-up threes, chews on his mouthpiece, does a shimmy, does this after every three, and goes, "You like Steph? Are you trying to be Steph?" He's like, no, and I wish that would go away. You're like, okay.
Especially if Steph had like a unique haircut. I think it comes down to the hair. I really think it's the haircut. It was like the haircut. If the haircut wouldn't have been the same, there would never been a problem.
Yes. Okay. Good.
Yep.
I text you positives so far through 4 games, taking a moment, smelling the roses with the bye week, some concerns. You want me to go through? I'm going to go through some positives. I'm going to throw them at you.
You throw them.
Since we've been talking about positives, Dylan Raiola,
positive.
11th in the country in passing yards, 1,137. 3rd in the country in completion percentage. He's completing 75% of his passes.
Even against Michigan, he was 30
of 41 for 3 bills.
Yeah.
I mean, good God. 4th in the country in completions. Yeah. And he's thrown 1 pick.
I mean, that is no doubt the future of Nebraska football rides on him continuing to play this way as we grow and he grows. We're going to be in good shape if this continues.
Positive number 2. I just wrote down the pass catching weapons. Nebraska's got like 5. Now, I'm not saying they're like, all war, but like not many teams have truly 5 guys you can throw the ball to. Like you got Key, you got Hunter, you got Barney, you got Applebee's, tight end you,
Mr. and Mrs.
Luke Lindenmeyer, and then Emmett Johnson.
Yeah, and Nick, on this point, this is a little anecdotal, but I would bet a lot of money if you looked at our last 4 games, how many drops have we had versus the people I'm watching the other teams drop a lot of balls. Our guys are catching the ball this year.
Couldn't agree more. I can think of tight end you after he got engaged. He dropped the 1 against Houston Christian. Other than that,
we're not catching.
Barney dropped one against in the end zone against Akron. I mean, I'm really trying to critically
but we're catching most every ball. This is part of Dylan's he's throwing a high percentage, but for the most part, these receivers are doing a good job catching the football.
I agree.
They're making it look routine. That's important. Dylan just out there delivering. They're making catches and making it all look easy. That hasn't always been the norm around here, and I want people to remember that. We had a stretch of years where throwing and catching the ball
was hard.
Itself was very hard.
Yes,
it was hard.
So you have 5 different guys that have 13 or more receptions through 4 games. So I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Hunter's got 13, Emmett's got 16, tight end U's got 16, Dane Key's got 16, and Barney's got 21.
Yeah.
You got all those guys have gotten into the end zone.
Mills and Clark.
Yep.
Those guys are,
and Heine. I hope Heine starts to get worked in a little bit. I still hope Carter Nelson has a role on some level. But I just think like you're saying, passing and catching has been not a foregone conclusion for a while. And there's been some teams where it's like, if it's not Trey Palmer or it's not who the hell's going to get open and catch the ball?
Yeah.
Well, you got multiple guys. I think that is a big positive. Third positive, special teams isn't a train wreck.
Nope.
I mean, Cunanan, he missed a 44-yarder against Michigan, but he made a 52-yarder against Cincinnati, and Nebraska won that game by 3. He's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Archie's been awesome as a punter so far.
He's turned the field over consistently. I don't know that he's had a bad punt either.
I know, knock on wood, but you're right. The one out of the end zone, that thing was 55 plus yards, or flipped the field, penned Cincinnati inside the 10 or 15 multiple times. That's a positive thing. Barney made the mistake catching at the 3, but Barney at least is made there's a hell of a lot more punt return yards than it's been.
Yeah. He's no muffs. And he's being aggressive. I like that.
Agreed. Special teams, for a long time, you had to cover your eyes when any sort of special teams thing would happen. I don't feel like that right now. That's great.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Turnovers been pretty good so far. There's only 2 turnovers on the whole season for Nebraska. They're tied for 16th fewest nationally. They're tied for 20th in turnover margin at +4. Yeah. You remember the whole Dirk Chatelain story that you always bring up that this was 5 or 6 years ago.
We are an anomaly. We are a statistical anomaly with our turnover ratio and even the amount of wins we've had for that.
Right.
It's almost it's hard to understand how bad we've been in that category. We should have actually been a worse team over the last 20 years by that metric. But that's one I'm going to be focusing on all year. And if we stay in that category, we're going to have a lot more W's this year than L's.
Totally agreed. And so I think sometimes you got to say that out loud, that like, listen, Nebraska's not turning the ball over right now.
Yeah.
So that's another positive thing. The last positive thing is pass defense. Right now, I'm on ESPN.com, stats, pass defense. Who's number one in the country? Nebraska's number one in the country in pass defense. Now, I don't mean to be, devil's advocate, but guy. Like, I could argue that, like, Houston, Christian, and Akron stunk. Underwood didn't really, Michigan wasn't really trying to throw the ball. Yeah. And Cincinnati wasn't, although Sorsby's numbers have been pretty good since. I guess what I'm saying is I don't know if they've seen a truly pretty good passing offense yet.
They haven't, so that's one. And I think teams have dropped the ball on us too. I think
couldn't agree more.
Whatever reason, like nobody, like I've seen like maybe 3 or 4 touchdowns dropped against us. That I don't know. That's a part of our D that's doing a good job, or we've just been lucky. But when you're number one in the country, that means something. It's and it's 4 games in. It's not 1 or 2 games. The farther the year goes, the more that number means, and we're starting to get to a point where that number actually means something.
And 2 of the 4 opponents were power conference opponents. There are certain teams that have not. I've only they played 3 group of 5 teams, and then they've played 1. Like so. It's you're right. We're at the point in the season where you don't want to dismiss any sort of stat like that, especially when you're numero uno.
Number one's a big deal. So
number one,
I think if we are in 2 more weeks, if we're still in the top 5 or 10, like that's gonna be a big deal.
Okay, now concerns. I should have flipped these. I didn't want to end the pod on a negative note. We'll find a way to get positive at the end of this thing. Concerns. These are obvious. Run defense. 2 power conference teams. Look at these rushing numbers. It's like gulp. 2 power conference teams. 488 yards rushing given up to Cincinnati and Michigan. 244 yards per game given up on the ground. These power conference teams are averaging 7.7 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Like, whew. Now, to be fair, Sorsby, not too many teams have a runner like that guy. That guy was like what'd you say?
He was a stud. He was a good player. I mean, Underwood.
And then Underwood. And
Underwood's kind of in the same category. He's like a freakazoid.
And then not too many teams have an offensive line like Michigan and Justice Haynes. Mm-hmm. So I think we got to be fair, too, on that regard. But it was a concern heading in. We were concerned about it. And it is so far through 2 power conference games, it's not looked very good.
Yeah, and Butler, I never want to blame the coordinator who was a former position coach, right? But like his expertise is doing excellent, and the up front is where we're trying to find ourselves. And I don't know if that's truly just personnel, or if there's an element of scheme, right? And until you're in the rooms, we don't really know that yet. I think a lot of it I'm going to put on probably personnel right now. I'm going to give Butler the benefit of the doubt that we're sound right now until we're not sound, right? And so I think we've seen what we projected to be like, hey, we don't really got the tire, the Nash right now, right?
Yes.
That's a big part of stopping the run. I like Dason, but he's pretty light on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
We like Winery.
Winery's like, I'm gonna line up real wide.
Winery was in East Stadium in his wide 9. He tells us it's extra wide.
He was so far wide on that wide. 3rd and 10. They showed a replay from behind Michigan. Winery was like almost by the slot receiver.
You say 99 or 9?
Wide 99. Real wide 9 on this
99.
one. Winery, get in there.
No, Winery 9, not 99. Wide.
But yeah, it also stands to reason of like Butler's background, defensive backs. Where is the offense strong or the defense strong? Defensive backs. Holgerson, his specialty is probably throwing the ball. Where is Nebraska good? Throwing the ball. So there's also like, it kind of makes sense where you're.
Personnel's kind of lining up for this. Like the personnel's lining up for it. So I don't know if I just want to say like, these coordinators aren't setting us up to stop the run, or, Holgerson's not trying to pound the rock. I'm not going to go that far. I think they're trying to. I think they're actually working with what we got.
Yeah.
And, we're throwing the ball well. We're defending the pass well. We're just not kind of running it or stopping it as well as we need to. And so I think that's sort of the strengths of our team.
And when you write down, if you just right now put a pen to paper and write down the best players on the team, you write down a lot of defensive backs and a lot of wide receivers and your quarterback.
Obviously, the club has been a rotation of receivers, DBs, and QB, right?
So it makes sense. But run defense, nevertheless, concern. Second concern, pass protection. There's a reason the whole Michigan or the whole Nebraska offensive line is in a really stinky, tiny Uber at this point. I mean, you've given up 11 sacks. Again, I'm giving one on that final one where he threw it up and Latovsky's catching it. But 11 sacks in 2 power conference games is concerning.
Yeah, I just, just from from watching it and then rewatching it, the tackle position, like we're not setting an anchor and sort of like we're really catching too much.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going on there, but it's just not an aggressive enough mindset on those edges. Like you gotta bow up and get ready. And I just feel like we're just setting too far back or something. And,
Agreed.
And they're not passing the games off very well. So they got a ways to go. And I feel like the narrative was like, we got depth there. And I'm just like, I don't know. I think we've got a ways to go at that position before we can comfortably beat a good team with a good defense, because we're going to have to throw the ball now, right? Like we're going to have to.
Yep. I mean, the only thing I will say is there's a chance, and I think a pretty good chance, that Nebraska won't see better pass rushers for the rest of the season outside of maybe Penn State than Michigan's team.
Did you catch how old the guys? I actually didn't. Let me look up Michigan. Let's see if we can see their defense.
How old those pass rushers were?
Yeah, it was a TJ guy. It was 2. Number 8 was Derek Moore. I thought that guy was a good player.
Yeah.
He's a senior. Okay, so these guys, I think these guys are all they look like NFL guys to me. Like I think you'll see those guys. I don't know where they're going to fall, but they're not like.
Yeah, Barham, number 1 is a senior.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's you're kind of driving home my point of like, there's also a world where you ran into a pretty special group of pass rushers,
but they might be underrated because we didn't hear a ton about them coming into it. It's not like it's Aiden Hutchinson.
No, I was gonna say we
didn't get that sort of like talk going into the game. But I would say after that game, like I could pretty easily go like, I haven't seen that yet this year.
Yes.
So we'll see what else the Big Ten has to hold, but I will be hard pressed to think that there's going to be a D line with 2 or 3 guys better than those guys.
I agree.
All at the same time. So I think we did run into maybe an underrated pass rush.
I agree.
Those guys aren't. They're no joke.
The next concern: Nebraska's run game. 43 yards rushing against Michigan, 110 yards against Cincinnati, but it was like 110. Like Emmett Johnson was like Rocky. Like at the end of the game, he's like, I ain't no bells. Like Emmett, the game's been over. He's like, oh yeah.
Lead with your head, Rock. Like
hit the hole in the middle. I'm seeing 3 holes out there. Like hit the hole in the middle.
Hit the Cincinnati guy in the middle.
100, but how about this? 117th.
I'm seeing 3 holes out there.
3 holes out there. Hit the one in the middle.
The big guy in the middle.
Hey, how you doing,
Coach? I can't see what hole.
Let's go over to halftime report with Emmett Johnson. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Adrian. Emmett is talking Rocky in the middle.
25th carry. Emmett Johnson's in the huddle.
Emmett Johnson.
I'm seeing 3 holes.
Hey, Latovsky, I'm seeing 3 holes out there.
The one in the middle, Emmett.
117th in rush percentage. Only 42.9% of Nebraska's plays have been running plays. Only Big Ten teams that are ahead or that have run the ball fewer in terms of percentage of run-pass ratio are Purdue and Maryland. So right now, I mean, Nebraska's almost at a 60-40 split.
That to me, though, I know they're going to try to get it to 50-50, even with Holgorsen, but like, I just do think the air raid, like this is what I love it. I will give a positive here, because the air raid, in a sense, a lot of these passes are like runs. Yep. Like if you see Holgorsen, he's been doing this for 20 years, where they're going to throw it a little bit more. But most of these, like, or not most, but there's a good chunk of these that feels like it's a quick throw. You get 3 to 5.
Right.
It's an extension of your run game.
Right.
That is sort of built into the concept of this offense, which is a little different. Like a lot of the throws aren't really meant to just drive the ball down the field. It's like, hey, we're going to get a quick chunk on whatever you're going to give us on this play. And it's almost like because it's really not designed to go down the field.
Yes.
So I think there is an aspect of the air raid to me that is an extension of the run game. So I think we're doing well on that. And Emmett has been very good catching the ball in the backfield. But there's no doubt we are
got to run the ball better.
We're lacking in what I want to see. What's Emmett's yards per?
He's actually carry? Like Emmett's. I want to say top 3 in the Big Ten in rushing.
He is.
Now again, he racked up some yard. He's got
3.4. Let's see.
Emmett Johnson is
yards per carry is
5.5 is what I'm seeing.
Rushing 5.5 on the year.
391 yards, 5.5 a tote, 4 touchdowns. So yeah, I think a part of also the concern with the run game is also Matt Rhule said it himself, that he said, I had a meeting with the offensive staff of like, we got to figure out who our number 2 running back is. You know, they've shuffled Ives in, they've shuffled in some Mekhi Nelson. And again, I just don't know if either of those guys really are ready to go make difference making plays in the Big Ten.
Let me see Michigan season stats. Let's see what our comparison. We're 4.2 yards per carry. They are 6.7 yards a carry. Justice Haynes 8.1. So basically you bump it up, 2 to 3 yards per carry for their average for their best running back, right? So like that's the difference between a really good running game. It doesn't seem, but that's a big difference, right?
Difference.
A couple yards of carry is a big difference especially when you're talking about your overall average. They're almost 3 yards better than us. Like that's a big deal.
But the run game's that's a concern at this point. Like that's got to get better. The other thing, red zone touchdowns. I think that Sam McEwen, I'll just read from Sam McEwen of the Omaha World Herald. This is 2 paragraphs from his story. Said in 4 games, Nebraska has made 24 trips into opponents' red zones. That figure is tied for 2nd in the Big Ten and 6th nationally. It is stunningly just 5 fewer trips than the Huskers made in all of 2023 in 12 games. Can we stop and let that sink in for a second?
Oh.
So Holgerson's doing some good things. That's wild. But Nebraska has scored touchdowns on 14 of those 24 trips, 58% touchdown rate. Holgorsen won 70%, as all 4 of the Big Ten college football playoff teams in 2024, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and Indiana, cleared that bar. That 70% number is what they're looking for touchdowns.
Okay.
So I don't really have any other thought other than like when you get down there, they got to do a better job of getting a touchdown.
Yeah, and I think especially
and maybe that's where that run game comes into account.
I just feel like has not. It seems like we've missed. It's not like it feels like every time we get down that we've taken a chance on 2nd down and like thrown at the end zone and missed every time. We probably had 3 or 4 of those. Barney, Key. Like we're trying to throw fades. More. We're trying to. It seems like we have missed on all of our
2nd down throws.
Our aggressive throws. We've missed on those, and that's been like, I don't want to say the tail of the season, but I think against Michigan, missing on that 2nd down, maybe we do something else, but I think we have just missed. We've missed when we've been down there. We find our reason to miss when we're inside the like 5 or 10, and
it's such a good observation.
Been very good in basically every other spot of the field. So
totally agree. It does feel like every one of those empty trips not getting a touchdown, the one common denominator is an incomplete pass on 2nd down.
And, it just seems like, gosh,
and now you're in third and goal and long or something. And it's just.
And our run game then is not. So yeah. I don't know what, I don't want to be the coordinator. I don't want to tell the coordinator how to coordinate. I just say, like, it seems like we've just missed. And I don't know how, I don't know if there's a solution, but I'm just saying that's what I've seen. So
agree. Totally
we've missed in that moment inside the 5 or 10. And to beat great teams, I think we've just got to find a way to, I don't know, call plays that keep it, keep the ball, moving forward, or we got to find a way there, because I think that those are opportunities we can't squander.
I agree. And then the last concern, and this one's, I don't know, I think you agree with me. The last concern I wrote down is does Nebraska have an elite player outside of Dylan Raiola? Where other than Dylan, who so far strikes you as a first team all Big Ten player?
First team?
Or second team?
We haven't had a
first teamer in a while.
Teamer in a long time. Ty made third team last year.
I thought so.
I think he was our only one. So is anybody better than Ty?
Not on defense.
Not on defense.
And then on offense, other than Dylan.
I mean, it's just hard. Like, I like
Barney's got the numbers.
I like Dane Key, and
I like Lindenmeyer.
But these Ohio State receivers, they're not going over the Penn State receivers, the
USC, and all that. Yeah, like
the Indiana receiver.
Yes,
you got too many. Yeah, I don't see anybody right now. Right now, nobody's played into the top. Call it 3 spots of the All Big Ten team. Maybe one of those DBs. Right. Maybe like if they're saying, Sierra Wright is grading out okay, I'll put that as a maybe type of thing, but not the first team for sure. Maybe not second team. And you got to probably think of it as like the NFL drafts. There's 200 some spots, right? The 200 spots. Do we have another guy on this team that's in the top 100? A top 100 draft pick?
That's what I don't know. I mean,
round 3 to 4, right? Like,
I don't necessarily want to say that like still Nebraska is just not there talent wise, because like I think that is a matter of perspective, like how are we framing this? If we're talking about Nebraska talent wise of hanging with the top echelon of the Big Ten, no, I don't think they're there. They're not ready to go 10-2 and be in the college football playoff. Do they have enough talent to go 8-4? I think so.
So we can be if we go 8-4, 9-3. Close. I mean, I don't know if we're 10, but you can be one of those teams and not have a guy drafted in the first 100 picks. Maybe have 1 or 2 in this, the next 100. But if you look at Michigan, Ohio State,
Oregon,
Penn State, yeah. Every year, the last handful of years, those first 4 rounds, they have half their roster coming off the board.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The SEC and the Big Ten, the top teams, their guys are all going those first 4 rounds. So like until we start getting a couple of guys in there, it just feels like that's the talent gap. And I actually remember, because I'm becoming an old guy here. But like when I got there, this was 2003, we were coming out of the 90s, early 2000s. We weren't at our peak powers in 2003, but we were in a national championship in 2001.
Yeah.
And so I was still, like we were putting guys in the first and the second and the third and the fourth round in the years before and after me. Cause I was like, okay, like when I got there, like there was still that kind of talent and we weren't winning the way we were winning in the 90s, but there was still NFL talent on the team. And you didn't think teams were way better than you, so like, there is a talent gap that Nebraska needs to get back to. That was part of what Nebraska was. It's like, look, whether we're winning national championships or we're up or down, if we still have guys in those first, 4 rounds going to the NFL, like we're with the big dogs in a lot of ways. Like, and I just feel like we have been so far away from that the last 8 years. That has been the big, even with, with Bo's teams, we started putting more guys back in the NFL.
Yeah. Prince, Levante David, Randy Gregory, Amir, Rex, you just go on, and not that it was a ton, but it was a decent amount. And Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at. I still, through 4 games, I look at the roster and I'm like, are there top 100 NFL board guys, top 200 NFL draft board guys? Like, I don't know. And I mean, I just think if you oversimplify it and zoom out, that stuff matters. Now, I say that, but I also believe that this team is talented enough to win 8 games, maybe even 9 games.
I think so. I think you can win 8 or 9. I don't think you can get to the playoff probably until we get a couple pros.
Yeah. Yes.
I think we got to get, until we see a couple of guys who are like, these guys are going to play on Sundays. There's 4 or 5 teams in the Big Ten that do have those guys. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of our measuring stick is the Big Ten's top tier talent. And right now there is Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon. You're always going to have those 4 with a chunk of those
USC is going to have dudes
is always a recruiting threat because you got Hollywood. You got the Hollywood thing. So to me, and like until we're not going to maybe be that, but we've got to start inching closer in some of those, putting guys in the first 4 rounds.
I agree.
Because then it's like that tells you we got dudes, and
yes. So I just making that point. Like, would you stop and think about the first 4 games and just like zoom way out? Like, I still wonder about I think the talent level is good enough to win the games that I think people are hoping they're going to win. But I still feel like, man, there's got to be, you got to make up for that gap a little bit more. Okay. 1 hour in the books.
1 hour in the bye week?
Sheesh.
Man.
1 hour bye game? Hold on, Emmett, what's that? What? You're seeing 3 holes? We got to go deal with that.
Hit the one in the middle.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.